Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. Today is crafting Sunday and we are going to take and make a traveler's notebook out of an old book. So I picked this up at a used bookstore for $1. This is the Blue Ghost Mystery by John Blaine, and we are going to use the cover of this to make a traveler's notebook. And it's a very easy, you don't need a lot of supplies. I'm going to show you how to get it all done. So let me just zoom in a little bit here so you can see better. So what I like to do first is we're going to take off the little price tag. And if it doesn't come off right away, you can always use a little bit of alcohol to remove the little piece. And this one was really stuck in here, so it left a little blemish, but that's fine. It gives your notebook some character. So I'm going to take a little alcohol swab and I'm just going to wipe down the cover. Nothing crazy. See, gross. These are old, so you're gonna have a little bit of crudiness on there, so we want to get rid of that. Okay, so once that's done, you are going to open your notebook or open your book, whatever it is that you're using, and you can use any kind of book, really will work with this. And you're gonna take a, what do you call this, one of these, or a scissors or something, and you are going to carefully remove the center section, being careful not to cut into the cover itself. A lot of the times when you get these books, the center part is already kind of destroyed, so you really don't need to do much when it comes to that. So now we have this piece right here that is kind of not the best looking. So we're gonna take and we're gonna find some, you can actually use part of the cover itself to cover up that little section there. But I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to use something solid. So let me see what I have. Okay. So I think I'm going to use just a solid piece of blue paper to do the center part, and you can measure this, you really don't have to. I just go a little bit off the edge of whatever it is that I'm working on, and I'm just gonna do a little mark here, and then I'm gonna take my paper cutter and we're gonna cut at the mark. And this will give us a strip that we are gonna glue down onto this little section here. And you can use any kind of glue. I'm just going to use this clear tacky glue to do this, if I can get it to come out. There we go. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around. And I'm going to do just the center part first. And then we're going to take care of the fish. I don't know why this is so hard to come out today. We're going to just put glue all over this. Like I said, you don't have to be fancy. You don't have to be perfect. Just do it as best you can. Okay. Once, of course, we don't want that to happen. Once you have that, you're going to take your little blue piece of paper and you are going to press it into that seam there. And you can use your finger, of course, but I'm just going to use one of these just to make sure that I have it all inside. And again, guys, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just, you know, have fun with it. Let me clean this off because, of course, I have glue all over my hands now. You can use, you don't have to use the tacky glue or anything like that. You can actually use glue sticks if it makes it easier. I found these glue sticks on Amazon that I absolutely love because they are purple. And they don't dry purple, but you see where you're putting the glue down, which makes it so easy to use. So what I do is, if you wanted to use, you know, glue stick, just, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You could see my cutting is a little bit wonky, but that's fine. Well, not my cutting, the way that I laid the paper down. Because at the end of the day, you're making this for you. You're not making this for, I mean, if you wanted to make it to sell it, you can. But if you're making it for you, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I stress that because I know how we all look at stuff on the internet, you know, things like TikTok, and you see all these beautiful traveler's notebooks that people create, and you can just do something like this. So we are going to let this dry for a little bit, and then I will come back and show you how to get this done. Okay guys, while this is drying, I figured I would let you know some of the supplies that you're going to need to make this. Of course, you're going to need an old book. Doesn't matter what kind of book it is, whatever cover you like that you find. You can find these, again, at used bookstores. You can find them at, hold on one second. Let me see if I can just zoom out a little bit. You can find them at old bookstores. You can find them at the library sales, you know, thrift shops. And so you're going to need whatever book cover that you want to turn into a notebook. And then what you're going to need is some elastic string. And let me pull out this one because this is the one that I'm going to use on this particular notebook. So you have the elastic string here, very nice. It's stretchy and it's a 1 millimeter cord. This is just the one that I use. You can go thicker if you want, or you can go thinner if you want. So like I have some really thick, nice one. Well, actually I probably use the thicker one because it's gonna be better, but you have some really thick one here. So we're gonna use the thicker one, and this is for the inside of your notebook. And then you can either use the same elastic, or you can get an even thicker elastic that you're going to use as the closure for this. So those are your options. And then you're gonna need a scissors or a what do you call these? The little cutter thing. One of these, or a spoon. Anything that you can use to kind of get this pressed into that section. And then you're going to need a pair of scissors, which I have. Oh, and a paper cutter. Again, you don't have to use a paper cutter. You can use a, what do you call this? I'm drawing a blank. A ruler and just some scissors if you want, if that makes it easier. So once this has dried up, which I think it's dried up enough, I'm just going to cut out the excess. So we have the excess cut out. Now here you can decorate. Let's see. See what I can find here. Let's try this one. Here you can decorate the inside of this. You can use some washi tape. You can use stickers. If your cover doesn't have like a fancy background, or if this is damaged, you can cover this completely with paper and make it look whatever way it is you want it to look. I'm just gonna throw some washi on the edges here. I need a new pair of scissors because these, I have my fabric scissors, but these paper scissors are awful. This also helps to hide the fact that my, the way that I laid the blue out wasn't, it wasn't straight. It was kind of like this. So yeah, you can take that. Oh my God, these scissors are terrible. Let me find another pair of scissors. Let me use these little ones. They're probably better. Now, when you cut this up, there you go. Okay, so we have this. Now we have our empty book with the decorative inside, and say I wanted to put a packet on here. I'm just going to literally take a piece of paper, and I think I'll use the same blue. Now you can use a heavier, this is just regular paper. You can use a heavier stock paper if you want to. It really is up to you as to how you want to cut your pocket out. So what I typically do is I just kind of eyeball it. I'm gonna just cut this piece out a little bit to make it a little more manageable to work with. Now, what I want to do is I want to have a pocket that's kind of this way. So I'm just going to fold the edge of the paper, and then I'm gonna fold the bottom to where I want it. Now I have this habit of not using any kind of, what do you call it, template for my pockets. I just use whatever I see that I want, and I want the pocket to fold inside. So I'm gonna fold it again. So now I have this shape, right? You can see right there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this in. These you can get for $1 something at the craft store. Fantastic. I love these little things. It just helps you kind of close up your edging. And here we have a pocket that you can put stuff in. So what I do is I will cut the excess off. Again, nothing fancy. I still need better scissors than this. Let me try these. I know I have 10 million scissors and none of them work. So we're just going to cut these edges out. Right? And then I'm going to just glue down all the folds that I did. So we're gonna make a simple line. These are not working for me today. Hold on one second. Let me get my other stick. Here we go. Let's see if this one, here we go, that works better. So we're just gonna glue down our edging. So let's start with this side. And then let's start with this. Again, doesn't have to be fancy. And then we're gonna do the bottom. Do that. And then we're gonna do this edge. So now you have a nice pocket that you are going to put into your notebook. So then at this point, and if you want this to lie down flatter, you can put tape on there, or yeah, tape on the edges, but you don't have to. Then what I do is I'm just going to do a thin, actually, I'm not going to do a line on there now that I think about it, because that's going to be our open section. So we're going to take that off. Again, when you mess up, you just use a little bit of alcohol. It'll take the stickiness out. Gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna do the edgings that are gonna be closed. So we're gonna glue this down, we're gonna glue this down, and we're gonna glue this side down. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. Line it up to where you want it to sit. And boom, pocket. And I'm doing this fast, so it's not gonna be the nicest, the best, but I just want to give you guys an idea of how to do this without using like 10 million different like expensive things to make your traveler's notebook. So once we've got this here, we're gonna let it dry, and then I will be back in a few minutes once this dries up. Okay, so I think this is dry enough to work with, but as you can see, we now have a pocket to put in stuff, and the pocket needs to dry a little bit more, so I'm gonna just try not to touch it too much. So now we're going for the holes of the notebook, and here is where things may get a little bit hard for you or complicated. You can either use a hole puncher, or if you don't have a hole puncher, you can use something with a sharp point to it, like one of these, to poke your hole into the notebook. I'm going to use my hole puncher because I have it, but you can really use anything to make the hole that you're going to use to put your bands in. All right, so this center part here is about 1 inch, so I'm gonna measure, let's see, we're gonna go up about, I don't usually measure when I'm making these, but we're gonna make 2 holes on the top, 2 holes on the bottom. And I'm gonna go in about 1/2 inch for each one, and just gonna come down a little bit from the top. And I'm just gonna mark it with my pen, which I don't know if you guys can see it, but I just marked one hole with my pen. And then I'm gonna go from here, and I'm gonna do the same thing just to try to make sure that they kind of somewhat line up. Doesn't have to be perfect. It is what it is. So once I have my little first mark up here, I'm going to use the smallest side of my hole puncher, but you can use the bigger side, it doesn't matter. And you're going to make, I have to take my glasses off. You're going to make one hole where you marked, and then you're going to make another hole just slightly underneath it. So I just go down a little bit and oops, I create the second hole. And you're gonna want to go down a little bit more so it doesn't break. I didn't go down far enough, but that's all right. Then same thing on the other side. And make your first hole, and then you're going to make your second hole. And this one is better because I have more room here. That's going to hold your string. Now, sometimes people want to put the little grommets in there. You can if you want to. You don't have to. It's up to you. If you have them, go for it. If you don't have them, this is going to work perfectly fine. So those holes are done. Now you're going to do a hole in the back part of your journal. Again, the same thing. You can either use a hole puncher, or you can use one of these poker things. I don't know what they're called. I'm going to use my crocodile. And for this one, I'm going to use the bigger setting for the bigger hole. And here you can measure if you want. Okay. Sorry, my computer just froze. Here you can measure if you want. If you want to measure it to make it completely centered, you can do that. This is about 5 inches. So we're going to go to 1, 2. So we're going to go about here. I'm going to take my pen and kind of find the center of the book and just make a little mark where I want to create the hole. I know I'm kind of going fast with this, guys. I'm really sorry. Then I'm going to hole punch where I marked. That's all the holes that you're going to need for the string that you're going to use. So I'm going to string this part here. Going to take my elastic, and you don't need that much of it. This is just going to be easier for me to show you. And you're going to come in through the back bottom part. You're going to bring both of these strings in through the bottom holes that you created in the notebook. Bring them in, bring them tight, and then have them both go out through the top of the notebook so that it's like this. Whoop, there we go. You see that? And then you're going to take on the other side, and here you can use where did I put them? Here we go. these little grommet things that you see on a lot of the traveler's notebooks, but it's not necessary. You can use a bead if you want to, or you can just tie it straight out. So we're going to tie it straight out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to test to make sure that I'm not putting it too tight, but that it's tight enough to hold the notebooks that I want to put in there. And I'm just going to tie this off. That's it. And can cut off the excess. You can hang little charms off of the back if you want to do that. But here we are. You can see I just tied a knot. That's it. Then here we are going to take our string, and I'm going to go around the notebook, but I'm going to go from about this much in, as you can see, around, and then I'm going to cut a little bit, make it a little bit shorter than the actual cover itself, because you want it to hold all your stuff in there tightly. So you're going to take this and you're going to tie a knot at the end. And if it's too loose, you can retie this and so that it fits properly to your liking. And then you're going to take, after you've tied it, you're going to push this through the hole like that. And here you have it. That was it. You have a traveler's notebook made out of an old book. And let me see if I find a notebook to put in. So this is a 5A. It might be too big for this particular book that I used, which it is. Let me see if I find something smaller. Okay, I'm going to use an A6 because that's all that I have. Of course, it's much smaller, so you can find a book that's going to fit like a 5A or a standard traveler's notebook kind of thing. You can find them. This one just happens to be smaller, and sometimes you can just make your own little notebooks. You can put your own paper in there, just fold it up, and there you go. So you put it in there, and you have your notebook that you can take along with you. Keep your planner in, write in, do whatever you want in. So that's it. That is as easy. I hope I did. I'm not really good at teaching, honestly. First of all, is that I'm disorganized, and when I'm teaching, I have to like go off the fly, because if I don't, if I overthink it, I won't do it. So here you go. Easy. Traveler's notebook. You can add your notebooks in here. You can take and make your own notebook. You can cut down an A5 to fit inside. You can also use the pages of the book. Let me see. Here we go. You can also use the pages of the book to create a junk journal with this and have removable pages. So I'll show you one that I have already done. Hold on. So this is one that's available in my shop that I happen to do. It's the 3 little pigs. And what I did is I created it like a traveler's notebook, and then I added my own paper, my own signatures to it, but the signatures are all removable, so that if I don't want it for this, I can then take all of this out and put in my own notebook. and use it like that. And then I have little pockets and things where you can, but I used the pages of my Three Little Pigs book to create the signatures for this junk journal. So that's that, guys. That's all I have. I hope this helps you be a little creative and make yourself a journal, a traveler's notebook, or you want to do a junk journal like this, you can. If you have any questions that I didn't answer while doing this, or you want me to do a different type of notebook, please let me know. I'll be happy to do that. So go off and make yourself a notebook, and I'd love to see your finished product. So leave me a comment in the comment section below. You can also join my Open Journal Society group on Facebook. I will put the link in the comments below. We'd love you to be a part of it if you are into creative stuff, journaling, art, creating anything, music, poetry, you name it. I would love to see it, and the members in our group would also love to see it. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and if you like this video, give it a like, give it a follow, subscribe, leave me a comment. It's all really helpful for my channel. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so until next time, bye.